Hello, I'm Dr. Kenneth Goldberg, the author of The Homework Trap: How to Save the Sanity of Parents, Students, and Teachers. For today's blog entry, I would like to comment on the question of homework and behavior and how they are tied together. The reality is that schools today are overburdened with behavioral problems. I can't imagine that there is any school principal who is not concerned that too much time is being spent on kids that are defiant and acting out. What people don't realize is that a large percentage, perhaps up to half, although I'm not 100% sure, of behavioral problems are actually created or at least stimulated by the homework policy. It's a cardinal rule in behavior modification, a cardinal rule of behavior theory, that the definition of a good penalty is one that works. You know that a penalty is a good one because you don't use it anymore. Penalties that are used over and over again that are not effective actually reinforce the wrong behaviors. If one is in a spot where they continue to get consequences no matter what they do, or at least no matter what they perceive they can do, then they'll start looking for other things to do. And this is exactly what happens with children. The grade system has an automatic nature to it. You get a 0 for work that's not handed in, while a 60 is an ordinary F, so to speak. So if you get half the work done, maybe you get a 50. So you're still getting an F. You get 60% of the work, you're getting a 50. You're getting a 60, you're still getting an F. You get 80% of the work, you feel like you've done quite a job, and you're getting an 80. Or maybe you get some of it wrong, so you get a 70. Whatever the specific numbers are, what happens with homework trapped children is that because the penalties have a repetitive quality and don't adjust to the child's ability, the child is getting negatives over and over again, and the child starts to look for alternatives. And then if parents and teachers join together in a well-intended effort to help that child, the child's perception is that the child is being ganged up upon. And because the child feels ganged up upon, the child acts out. So what ends up happening is you have children with what I call under the radar learning problems. I call them under the radar, but perhaps you could even call them learning problems, mild ones. Auditory processing, processing speed might be examples of such problems. They do not get attention by the school, and they end up being viewed as moralistic and behavioral problems. Then what happens is the same penalties are given, and those penalties eventually cause that child to come to the attention of the child study team, not because of the learning issues or the difficulties with the homework, but because of behavioral problems. The child eventually goes into the child eventually gets an IEP, goes into some type of plan that might involve an alternative class or an alternative school, and voila, the child doesn't have the homework anymore. So what happens is the child's bad behavior becomes an effective mechanism to get the homework relief that that child needed. But it still gets back to that basic principle that if you have a penalty and you use it over and over and over again, you know it's not a good consequence. And if it's not a good consequence, the inevitable outcome is what we will later call bad behavior. Thank you.